Legendary guitarist and co-founder of the Grateful Dead, has passed away at 78 after battling cancer and lung issues. He transitioned peacefully, surrounded by loved ones, according to his Instagram post. Weir helped shape the Grateful Dead's iconic blend of folk, Americana, and psychedelia, and continued performing even while undergoing treatment. Tributes have poured in from fans and musicians, and the Empire State Building honored him with tie-dye lights. His family requested privacy, but expressed gratitude for the outpouring of love and support. Michael Reagan, son of former President Ronald Reagan, has passed away at the age of 80. He died on Sunday in Los Angeles, surrounded by his family, the Reagan family announced. The family described him as a beloved husband, father, and grandfather, saying their hearts are broken over the loss of a man who meant so much to everyone who knew him. Bela Tarr, the acclaimed Hungarian director known for slow-moving, black-and-white cinematic masterpieces like Satin Tango and Werckmeister Harmonies, has died at the age of 70 in Budapest. His stepdaughter, Reka Gaborjani, confirmed his passing after a series of serious illnesses. Tarr was celebrated for his experimental style, with long, meditative shots that explored human existence, social conditions, and psychological states. His films challenged traditional storytelling and left an enduring mark on world cinema. Budapest Mayor Gergely Karácsony called Tarr the freest man I've ever known, praising his dedication to human dignity through his art. Actor T.K. Carter, known for his role as the roller skating cook Knowles in John Carpenter's The Thing, has died at the age of 69. He was found at his home in Duarte, California on Friday, January 9th. Law enforcement does not suspect foul play, and the cause of death has not been released. Carter's publicist described him as a consummate professional and a genuine soul, whose talent and humanity left a lasting impact on audiences and fellow artists. He is the fifth member of the Thing cast to pass away, following Charles Hallahan, Richard Dysart, Donald Moffat, and Wilford Brimley. Sir James Paul McCartney was born on 18 June 1942 at Walton Hospital in Liverpool, England, to Mary Patricia, née Mohan, a trained nurse, and James Jim McCartney, a musician who played trumpet and piano. Paul had a younger brother, Peter Michael, and a stepsister, Ruth, born to Jim's second wife. Both of his parents were of Irish descent, and although Paul and his brother were baptized Catholic, religion was not a major focus in their household. During World War II, the McCartney family moved several times, living in Knowsley in 1944, and later in council housing in Speke in 1946. Paul's father worked in the cotton trade before becoming a lathe turner and fire brigade volunteer during the war, while his mother's work as a midwife brought financial stability and allowed the family to move into 24th Lynn Road, Allerton, where Paul would live until 1964. McCartney's mother was a hard-working and inspiring figure. Paul later recalled memories of her leaving the house in the early hours to care for patients, which left a lasting impression on him. Paul attended Stockton Wood Road Primary School from 1947 to 1949 and then transferred to Joseph Williams Junior School due to overcrowding. He passed the 11+ exam in 1953, enabling him to attend the Liverpool Institute, a grammar school. It was here that he met George Harrison on the bus, beginning a friendship that would later form the foundation of the Beatles. Paul's father, a former jazz musician, encouraged him to study piano, and at age 11, Paul joined the choir at St. Barnabas's Church in Mossley Hill after failing to get into the Liverpool Cathedral Choir. At 14, he received a nickel-plated trumpet for his birthday, but soon traded it for a guitar, inspired by the rock and roll he heard on Radio Luxembourg. To play left-handed like his idols, he reversed the strings on a right-handed guitar. Paul wrote his first song, I Lost My Little Girl, on that guitar, and his early musical inspirations included Little Richard, Buddy Holly, and American rhythm and blues, which shaped his style and passion for songwriting. By the late 1950s, Paul McCartney's life was increasingly dominated by music, and his talent was beginning to shine through in ways that would set the stage for a global phenomenon. In 1957, at just 15, he joined John Lennon's skiffle group, the Quarrymen, after being introduced by a mutual friend. McCartney quickly proved himself as a skilled musician and a natural performer, playing guitar, singing, and contributing ideas for songs. His friendship with Lennon grew almost instantly into a deep creative bond, laying the foundation for one of the most successful songwriting partnerships in history. Their collaboration was fueled by mutual admiration, competition, and shared inspiration from the rhythm and blues, rock and roll, and skiffle music that permeated Liverpool at the time. It was during these formative years that McCartney met George Harrison again, a schoolmate who shared his passion for music. Recognizing Harrison's talent as a guitarist, Paul invited him to join the Quarrymen in 1958, and together with Lennon, the three began experimenting with original songs as well as covers of American rock and roll hits. McCartney's melodic bass playing, harmonies, and ability to quickly pick up multiple instruments, bass, guitar, piano, and even drums, made him an invaluable member of the group. By listening to Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Buddy Holly, and Elvis Presley, he absorbed not only technical skill, but also the showmanship and stage presence that would later define the Beatles' live performances. The early 1960s marked a critical period of growth for McCartney and the group. They traveled to Hamburg, Germany, for extended residencies in clubs, performing for hours on end each night. These grueling schedules, often 7 nights a week, honed their stamina, stage discipline, and musical tightness. McCartney's adaptability and musical intuition became apparent during this time, as he learned to switch instruments mid-performance, harmonize flawlessly with Lennon and Harrison, and adjust songs to suit the energy of the audience. These experiences were invaluable in shaping the raw skills, endurance, and professionalism that would later carry the Beatles through the pressures of global fame. By 1962, the lineup of John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr was finalized, and they secured their first record deal with EMI's Parlophone under the legendary producer George Martin. McCartney's role as a songwriter, singer, and instrumentalist became increasingly central to the band's success. Early singles like Love Me Do and Please Please Me highlighted his melodic creativity, lyrical charm, and ability to craft tunes that were both catchy and enduring. Lennon and McCartney developed a dynamic songwriting partnership, in which Lennon's wit and edge complemented McCartney's melodic sensibilities and narrative storytelling. McCartney also began experimenting with unconventional chord progressions, lyrical themes, and studio techniques, which later contributed to the groundbreaking sounds that would define albums like Rubber Soul, Revolver, and Salt Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. During this period, McCartney also showed a remarkable ability to balance ambition with humility. While he was intensely driven to succeed, he also valued collaboration and innovation, constantly encouraging his bandmates to explore new ideas. His vision for the band was not only to achieve commercial success, but to expand the boundaries of contemporary music, incorporating influences from classical music, Indian instrumentation, avant-garde experimentation, and folk. By the time the Beatles began to achieve national recognition in the UK, Paul McCartney had already emerged as a creative force whose contributions, both as a musician and a thinker, would become integral to shaping the sound, style, and legacy of the world's most influential band. By 1963, the Beatles had become a national sensation in the United Kingdom, and Paul McCartney was at the very heart of the phenomenon. Singles like She Loves You and I Want to Hold Your Hand showcased his exceptional knack for melody and lyrical charm, catapulting the band to the top of the charts and earning them unprecedented media attention. McCartney's ability to craft catchy, emotionally resonant songs quickly became apparent. His bass lines were inventive, often carrying the song's melodies as much as providing rhythm, and his harmonies with John Lennon and George Harrison created a rich, distinctive sound that captured the imagination of millions. The public adored McCartney not only for his musical talents, but for his charisma, boyish charm, and natural stage presence, earning him the affectionate nickname, the Cute Beatle. In early 1964, the Beatles crossed the Atlantic to perform on The Ed Sullivan Show, a move that would ignite what became known as Beatlemania in the United States. Paul's smooth vocals, confident demeanor, and musical versatility captivated the American audience, drawing an estimated 73 million viewers for their first live broadcast. Fans screamed, fainted, and mobbed the band at every appearance, and McCartney's role as the melodic anchor, whether singing lead or performing his intricate bass lines, was essential to maintaining the energy and cohesion of live shows under extreme pressure. During tours, McCartney demonstrated remarkable stamina, often performing multiple shows per day while maintaining flawless musicianship and engaging the audience with humor and charm. As Beatlemania swept the globe, McCartney's songwriting flourished. He co-wrote some of the band's most iconic hits with Lennon, including Yesterday, Eleanor Rigby, and Penny Lane, blending heartfelt storytelling with inventive harmonies and orchestral arrangements. Paul's willingness to experiment in the studio became a hallmark of his creativity. He was often the driving force behind new techniques, whether layering multiple vocal tracks, exploring tape loops and sound effects, or incorporating instruments rarely heard in pop music. McCartney's curiosity extended beyond conventional rock and roll. He studied classical composition, Indian music, and avant-garde trends, incorporating these elements subtly into the Beatles' evolving sound. By 1966, the band's music had matured beyond simple pop, embracing complexity, introspection, and social commentary. Albums like Revolver showcased McCartney's imaginative range, from the tender simplicity of For No One to the experimental soundscapes of Tomorrow Never Knows. McCartney's contribution was not merely technical. He brought a vision of what modern music could achieve, encouraging his bandmates to explore new lyrical themes, studio techniques, and sonic textures. This period also highlighted his ability to collaborate effectively, balancing his own creative impulses with the ideas of Lennon, Harrison, and producer George Martin to create a cohesive and innovative musical statement. Despite the frenzy surrounding the Beatles, McCartney remained grounded. He cultivated a disciplined work ethic, often arriving early at studios, meticulously arranging songs and studying music theory to expand his capabilities. His love for melody and narrative songwriting distinguished him from his contemporaries. He could write a heartfelt ballad one day and a witty, upbeat pop tune the next. Beyond his musicality, McCartney's personality, witty, affable, and deeply curious, helped navigate the pressures of unprecedented fame. Even in the chaos of global tours, screaming fans, and relentless media scrutiny, he maintained a focus on music as both art and craft, striving always to elevate the work of the Beatles beyond mere commercial success. The global impact of Beatlemania cemented McCartney's position not just as a performer, but as a cultural icon. Fans around the world admired his charisma, musicianship, and genuine connection to the audience. By combining technical skill, melodic genius, and an unwavering drive for innovation, Paul McCartney helped redefine the possibilities of popular music and stage performance. His early experiences with the Beatles laid the foundation for a lifelong career marked by creativity, collaboration, and a restless pursuit of artistic excellence, qualities that would continue to define him long after the band's eventual dissolution in 1970. After the Beatles disbanded in 1970, Paul McCartney faced the immense challenge of establishing his identity as a solo artist while navigating the public scrutiny that accompanied the end of one of the most influential bands in history. His first solo album, McCartney, released in April 1970, was a deeply personal and experimental work, recorded largely at home, with McCartney playing most of the instruments himself. The album featured introspective, melodic tracks like Maybe I'm Amazed, which displayed his remarkable talent for conveying emotion through music, even without the support of a full band. Critics were divided. Some praised the raw honesty and intimacy, while others were skeptical of the lo-fi production. But fans embraced it, signaling that McCartney's creative voice could thrive independently of the Beatles. In 1971, McCartney formed Wings, a band that would become the centerpiece of his post-Beatles career. Wings initially included his wife, Linda McCartney, on keyboards and vocals, alongside Denny Laine on guitar and bass. Wings represented both a return to collaborative band dynamics and a platform for McCartney to explore new musical directions. The group's early work, including albums like Wildlife and Red Rose Speedway, mixed rock, pop, and experimental sounds, demonstrating McCartney's continued versatility. Despite mixed reviews initially, Wings steadily built commercial and critical momentum through relentless touring, engaging performances, and memorable singles. By 1973, Wings had achieved significant success with the album Band on the Run, widely regarded as one of McCartney's finest works. The album showcased his maturity as a songwriter and composer, blending pop sensibilities with sophisticated arrangements and narrative-driven lyrics. Hits like Band on the Run and Jet demonstrated McCartney's knack for crafting melodies that were instantly memorable, while the layered instrumentation and polished production highlighted his evolving studio mastery. The album topped charts worldwide, cementing McCartney's status as a solo artist who could not only match, but in some cases surpass the heights of his Beatles fame. Throughout the 1970s, Wings continued to produce hit singles and albums, including Listen to What the Man Said, My Love, Silly Love Songs, and Mull of Kintyre. McCartney's songwriting during this era displayed a balance between accessibility and experimentation. Romantic ballads coexisted with playful, upbeat tracks, and his arrangements often incorporated brass, strings, and layered harmonies that reflected his Beatles-era sophistication. Tours in North America and Europe drew massive crowds, solidifying Wings as a dominant live act and demonstrating McCartney's enduring charisma as a performer. McCartney's creative drive extended beyond music alone. He was deeply involved in the production process, collaborating closely with band members and studio engineers to achieve his vision. He also navigated the complexities of fame and personal life, balancing his responsibilities as a husband and father with the demands of an international career. Linda McCartney's contributions as a musician and photographer enriched the band's identity, creating a family-oriented dynamic that appealed to audiences and reflected Paul's own values of collaboration and loyalty. By the late 1970s, Wings had become one of the world's most successful bands, and McCartney had firmly established his post-Beatles identity. His ability to reinvent himself while maintaining the melodic sensibilities and emotional resonance that had defined his earlier work was a testament to his enduring creativity. Even as the music industry evolved, McCartney's adaptability, songwriting prowess, and commitment to artistic excellence allowed him to remain relevant, admired, and commercially successful. His Wings era was not just a continuation of his career. It was a bold affirmation that Paul McCartney was more than a Beatle. He was a singular musical force, capable of defining multiple generations of popular music. Following the disbandment of Wings in 1981, Paul McCartney fully embraced his identity as a solo artist, embarking on a period marked by experimentation, high-profile collaborations, and exploration of new musical styles. His early 1980s work, including albums like Tug of War, 1982, and Pipes of Peace, 1983, showcased a refined pop sensibility and lyrical depth, blending heartfelt ballads with polished, upbeat tracks. Ebony and Ivory, a duet with Stevie Wonder, became an international hit and symbolized McCartney's ability to address social themes through accessible pop music, promoting racial harmony in its message. These albums demonstrated not only his melodic genius, but also his willingness to collaborate with contemporary artists, including Ringo Starr, Michael Jackson, and George Martin, reflecting a continuous connection to his musical roots while innovating for new audiences. During this era, McCartney faced both commercial highs and critical scrutiny. Some critics felt his work occasionally leaned too heavily on sentimentality, yet fans worldwide responded enthusiastically, drawn by his undeniable talent and charismatic presence. His music videos, live performances, and global tours amplified his visibility, allowing him to maintain relevance amid the rise of new wave, synth pop, and MTV-driven culture. Notable hits such as Say 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 with Michael Jackson, Take It Away, and No More Lonely Nights cemented his presence in mainstream pop, while his inventive approaches to production and instrumentation continued to highlight his versatility as a composer. The late 1980s and 1990s also saw McCartney embrace more personal and introspective themes. Albums like Flowers in the Dirt, 1989, combined autobiographical songwriting with sophisticated pop rock arrangements, co-written with contemporary artists like Elvis Costello. This period reflected McCartney's evolution as a mature songwriter, capable of blending his signature melodic flair with nuanced storytelling. At the same time, he remained connected to his Beatles legacy, often revisiting classic sounds and occasionally collaborating with surviving bandmates, bridging past and present in his evolving catalog. McCartney's influence extended beyond studio recordings. He actively pursued live performances and tours, such as the acclaimed World Tour of 1989 to 1990, which reaffirmed his reputation as a consummate performer, capable of engaging massive audiences with both new material and timeless Beatles classics. These concerts emphasized his enduring appeal and highlighted his ability to connect with fans across generations, maintaining the vitality that had characterized his career since the 1960s. Additionally, McCartney expanded his creative ventures into classical and experimental music during this time. Compositions like Liverpool Oratorio, 1991, revealed his ambition to explore orchestral and narrative-driven works, while collaborations with avant-garde artists reflected his enduring curiosity and refusal to be constrained by genre. These endeavors solidified his reputation as a multifaceted musician. Equally comfortable with chart-topping pop hits, sophisticated orchestral arrangements, and experimental projects. By the end of the 1990s, Paul McCartney had firmly established himself as a global musical icon, not only for his Beatles-era achievements, but also for his prolific solo career. He demonstrated an exceptional ability to reinvent himself, balance commercial success with artistic integrity, and continuously engage with new generations of listeners. His 1980s and 1990s output exemplified his resilience, creativity, and enduring influence on popular music, laying the foundation for his continued relevance in the 21st century as an innovator, performer, and cultural ambassador. Entering the new millennium, Paul McCartney continued to assert himself as a creative force in music, proving that his talents and influence were undiminished by time. His 2001 album, Driving Rain, showcased a mix of introspective songwriting and melodic craftsmanship, reflecting his personal experiences and evolving musical vision. In 2005, McCartney released Chaos and Creation in the Backyard, produced by Nigel Godrich, which received critical acclaim for its intimate arrangements, reflective lyrics, and understated instrumentation. Many critics hailed it as some of his best solo work in decades, praising the album's honesty and emotional resonance, particularly in tracks like Fine Line and Jenny Wren. This period highlighted McCartney's ability to remain artistically relevant while exploring new sonic textures and personal themes. McCartney also continued to embrace live performances on a massive scale, cementing his status as one of the most compelling live musicians of all time. His 2002-2003 Back in the World tour broke records for global attendance, while subsequent tours, including the U.S. tour and On the Run, demonstrated his enduring popularity across generations. Even as he entered his 60s and 70s, McCartney's energy on stage, charismatic presence, and ability to reinterpret both Beatles classics and solo material kept audiences captivated worldwide. His concerts became celebrations of his expansive career, blending nostalgia with fresh interpretations and showing a rare commitment to connecting with fans personally and musically. During this time, McCartney also explored collaborations across genres, working with artists such as Kanye West, Rihanna, and Paul Weller, reflecting his openness to contemporary trends and younger audiences. His willingness to experiment, from hip-hop influences to orchestral arrangements, underscored his creative restlessness and refusal to be defined solely by his Beatles legacy. At the same time, he revisited classical and orchestral projects, including works like Ecce Cor Meum, 2006, demonstrating a continual desire to expand his musical horizons and explore complex compositions beyond conventional pop structures. Beyond music, McCartney has remained a prominent cultural and philanthropic figure. He has actively championed animal rights, vegetarianism, environmental issues, and global humanitarian causes, using his celebrity platform to promote awareness and action. Charitable work, including support for music education, poverty alleviation, and disaster relief, has made him not just a musical icon but a respected public figure dedicated to positive social impact. His engagement with these issues has often intersected with his music, providing inspiration for lyrical themes and public campaigns. As of the 2020s, McCartney continues to release new material, including albums like Egypt Station 2018 and McCartney 3 2020, which were praised for their creativity, intimacy, and experimental qualities. Even decades into his career, he maintains a unique ability to surprise and delight listeners, proving that innovation and artistic curiosity are central to his identity. With an active touring schedule, collaborative projects, and continued involvement in musical production, Paul McCartney exemplifies a rare combination of longevity, adaptability, and relevance that few artists achieve. Through these decades, McCartney has reinforced his status not merely as a former Beatle, but as a living legend, whose influence spans multiple generations, musical genres, and cultural landscapes. His life and career stand as a testament to the power of artistry, resilience, and the enduring human connection forged through music, inspiring millions of fans worldwide and cementing his place as one of the most important and celebrated musicians in modern history. Paul McCartney's contributions to music and culture have been recognized with an extraordinary array of awards and honors, reflecting not only his commercial success, but also his artistic influence and societal impact. He has won 18 Grammy Awards, including Lifetime Achievement accolades, and received numerous nominations spanning his time with the Beatles, Wings, and his solo career. In 1997, he was appointed a Knight Bachelor by Queen Elizabeth II, becoming Sir Paul McCartney in recognition of his services to music. He has also been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice, first as a member of the Beatles in 1988 and later as a solo artist in 1999, underscoring his dual legacy as both part of the world's most iconic band and an influential individual artist. McCartney's songwriting, particularly his partnership with John Lennon, has been celebrated as one of the most successful and enduring in music history, with countless publications citing the Lennon-McCartney catalog as a benchmark for lyrical creativity and melodic innovation. Beyond formal awards, McCartney's influence on generations of musicians is immeasurable. Artists across genres, from rock to classical, pop to hip-hop, have cited him as a key inspiration for songwriting, arrangement, and performance. His melodic bass lines, inventive chord progressions, and versatile vocal range have set standards for musicianship, while his experimentation with studio techniques helped expand the boundaries of popular music. McCartney's commitment to music education and philanthropy further enhances his legacy, as he has funded initiatives that support young musicians, music schools, and charitable causes worldwide, demonstrating that his impact extends far beyond the recording studio and concert stage. McCartney's cultural significance also lies in his ability to bridge generations. From the Beatles' era of the 1960s to his current solo work, he has consistently engaged audiences with a blend of nostalgia, innovation, and accessibility. He remains a symbol of artistic excellence, resilience, and creative exploration. His life story, from a working-class childhood in Liverpool to becoming a global musical icon, resonates as a testament to talent, dedication, and the enduring power of music to inspire and unite people. In 2020, McCartney became the oldest solo artist to top the UK albums chart, illustrating that his relevance and popularity have not waned despite decades in the spotlight. Through these honors, achievements, and continued artistic output, Paul McCartney has solidified his place not just as a legendary musician, but as a transformative cultural figure, whose work has left an indelible mark on the world. His songs continue to be celebrated, studied, and performed, ensuring that the legacy of his musical genius will endure for generations to come, inspiring future artists and connecting millions of listeners across the globe to the timeless magic of his music. Beyond his monumental musical career, Paul McCartney's personal life has been marked by love, family, and resilience in the face of tragedy. In 1969, he married Linda Eastman, an American photographer and musician who became a steadfast partner and collaborator. Linda played a significant role in McCartney's post-Beatles career, co-founding the band Wings and contributing vocals and keyboards to many of their albums. Their marriage, lasting until Linda's death from breast cancer in 1998, was a source of stability and inspiration for McCartney, and the couple raised 4 children together: Heather, Mary, Stella, and James. Heather, Linda's daughter from a previous marriage, was adopted by Paul, while Mary, Stella, and James each pursued creative paths, with Stella becoming a world-renowned fashion designer. In 2002, McCartney married Nancy Shevell, an American businesswoman, who has since shared his life and supported his ongoing musical ventures. The couple maintains homes in both the UK and the United States, and McCartney's family life is closely intertwined with his professional endeavors, as he often draws inspiration from his experiences as a father, husband, and grandfather. Over the years, he has also remained deeply committed to animal rights, vegetarianism, and environmental causes, reflecting values instilled by Linda and further cemented by his own advocacy. Despite public scrutiny, McCartney has navigated personal losses and challenges with grace. The death of his first wife, the tragic passing of former Beatles bandmate John Lennon in 1980, and other close personal losses profoundly affected him. Yet he channeled grief into music, writing songs of reflection, love, and hope. In later years, he has embraced a balanced lifestyle, incorporating meditation, walking, painting, and even occasional yoga into his routine, demonstrating a holistic approach to health and well-being that complements his enduring creativity. In his later career, McCartney has continued to tour extensively, release albums, and collaborate with artists across generations. Projects such as his Egypt Station album in 2018 and the critically acclaimed McCartney 3 in 2020 highlight his ongoing innovation and adaptability as a songwriter and performer. Even in his 80s, he remains active in the studio and on stage, often performing multi-hour concerts that celebrate his vast repertoire, from Beatles classics to solo compositions. McCartney's longevity, vitality, and enduring passion for music underscore not only his artistic brilliance, but also his ability to evolve while staying true to the essence of his creative voice.